Chapter 1. The Twin Divide. It was a cold February morning in 1999 when Carl and Sam entered the world together, just minutes apart, in a small hospital in Visalia, California. Kathy and Larry, a young couple weathered by life's unpredictability, held their newborn sons with trembling arms. Two boys, identical in face but destined for different paths. With tears and heavy hearts, Kathy made a decision that would shape the rest of their lives. Carl would be placed for adoption. Sam would stay. They never talked much about the decision. Family whispered it away like a passing storm. Too painful, too complicated. Kathy said it was to give Carl a better chance, something she didn't think they could offer both boys. Larry never spoke on it. And so Sam grew up an only child, unaware of the other half of his soul wandering out there in the world. Carl bounced through the foster system, never staying long enough in one place to believe in forever. Years passed. Sam became a man with music in his veins and vision in his stride. He worked odd jobs, opened a used media store in Joplin, Missouri, and dreamed of someday making it to Los Angeles. And in early 2025, he did just that. Packed up his memories, kissed the past goodbye, and headed to LA with a suitcase and a song. It was the second week of February when he arrived, sunny, brisk, and electric with the city's pulse. Sam didn't know what led him to the Golden State Support Center that day, only that something pulled him there. Maybe it was fate. Maybe it was blood. Inside the lobby, on a cracked vinyl couch near the vending machines, sat a young man in his 20s. His knees were pulled to his chest, his arms wrapped tightly around them. He wore only a pair of gray briefs and a stretched white t-shirt, his bare legs trembling from the cold. He looked up when Sam walked in, and in that moment, Sam stopped breathing. He was staring at his own face, but it wasn't a mirror. It was a man, his twin, broken, crying. "Hey," Sam said gently, walking over, his voice catching in his throat. "Are you okay?" The man blinked at him, stunned. "Do I know you?" "I think you might," Sam said. "My name's Sam Clark." The man's lips quivered. "Carl," he whispered. And just like that, after 26 years, the twins were together again. One with a past, the other with a pain too deep for words. The February sun outside warmed the concrete, but inside that support center, something far more powerful was thawing, a bond that time had tried to break, now beginning to heal. To be continued. Chapter 2, Brothers Reunited. Carl didn't speak for a long time after Sam sat beside him. The vending machine hummed in the background, and somewhere down the hall, someone was coughing behind a closed door. But Sam didn't move. He just sat there, silent, patient, steady, waiting for Carl to feel safe. Finally, Carl exhaled a shaky breath and glanced sideways. "How'd you know to come here?" Sam shrugged. "I didn't. I was just looking for something. Somewhere to land. I guess the universe knew what it was doing." Carl scoffed quietly, wiping his nose on the sleeve of his t-shirt. "I've been here a week. They found me wandering near Skid Row. No ID, no shoes. I don't even remember how I got there." Sam looked at him, his heart splitting in two. "You okay now? Are they helping you?" Carl nodded, then shook his head. "I guess. I've seen worse places, but I don't know who I am, Sam. I've never had a home. Never had a real family." Sam blinked, his throat tightening. "You had me. Even if we didn't know it, we were always connected, Carl. I think I felt you, even if I couldn't explain it." Carl let the words sit in the air, and for the first time, his expression softened. "You really believe that?" "I do," Sam said, his voice thick. "I always felt like something was missing. Turns out, it was you." A counselor passed by and gave them a polite nod, but didn't interrupt. The support center was used to fragile reunions, to broken people finding their missing pieces. "You got a life?" Carl asked suddenly. "A job? A place?" Sam nodded. "Yeah, I make music. Sell used DVDs and CDs too. I just got a little apartment near downtown. It's not much, but it's mine." Carl looked down at his bare legs and cracked skin. "Must be nice." Sam hesitated, then stood. "Come with me." Carl looked up. "What?" "Come stay with me. Just until you get on your feet. We've lost enough time already." Carl stared at him for a long moment. Then, for the first time since Sam walked in, he smiled. A tired, crooked thing, but real. "You sure?" "I'm sure," Sam said. "You're my brother." Carl stood slowly, his legs wobbly. Sam took off his hoodie and draped it over Carl's shoulders. The two men, twins separated by fate, walked out of the Golden State Support Center side by side. As they stepped into the sunlight, Sam looked over. You like waffles? Carl laughed through his tears. I've never had one, Sam grinned. Well, first stop's breakfast, then we start fresh. And just like that, their story began again. Not as strangers, not as two lost souls, but as brothers finally found. To be continued. Chapter 3, A Place to Land. Sam's apartment was tucked above a bakery in East Hollywood, the kind of place that always smelled like sugar and bread no matter the time of day. The building was old, with creaky floors and chipped paint, but it was clean, quiet, and, most importantly, it was his. Carl followed Sam up the narrow stairwell in silence, gripping the railing with one hand and holding the oversized hoodie close with the other. His bare feet padded gently on the cool steps, each one feeling more real than the last. This is it, Sam said, unlocking the door. He stepped inside and turned on the light. Welcome home. The apartment was small, but cozy. A couch faced a small TV, and stacks of DVDs and CDs lined the walls like towers. A guitar rested in the corner, and a half-written song was still open in a notebook on the coffee table. The kitchen was compact but functional, with mismatched mugs and a little calendar pinned to the fridge. One bedroom, one bathroom, one haven. Carl stepped in slowly, looking around like he'd never seen anything like it. This is yours? Sam nodded, tossing his keys in a bowl by the door. Every last squeaky drawer. Carl sat on the couch gently, almost afraid to break it. It's nice. Warm? I try, Sam said, pulling a blanket out of the closet and handing it to him. You can crash here on the couch until we figure out something better. Shower's down the hall, and I've got some clothes that might fit you. Not perfect, but better than just briefs and a hoodie. Carl looked down and chuckled. Yeah, thanks. Sam disappeared into the bedroom and came back with a pair of sweats and a faded t-shirt with Def Sam Studios printed on the front. Carl held the shirt up. This yours? Yeah. Name of my store back in Missouri. I used to run it before I came out here. Carl nodded thoughtfully, then looked at Sam. You ever wonder what it would have been like if they kept us both? Sam sat down across from him. Every day. But we can't change that. All we can do now is make something new. Together. Carl swallowed hard, his voice quiet. I don't even know who I am. Sam leaned forward. You're Carl. You're my brother. That's a start. The two sat in silence for a moment, the soft hum of the fridge filling the room. Then Sam stood. Come on, let's get you cleaned up. You've got a whole life to figure out, and it starts with a hot shower and a good night's sleep. Carl smiled faintly, something warm flickering in his eyes for the first time in a long while. Thanks, Sam. Sam gave him a firm nod. You're home now, Carl. No more crying in support centers. We've got healing to do. As the night wrapped around them and the city lights twinkled outside the window, two brothers, divided by time, reunited by fate, began to stitch their lives back together, one moment at a time. To be continued. Chapter 4. Wash it away. The steam curled around Carl as the hot water poured over him. The small bathroom filled with fog, softening the edges of the mirror and muffling the sounds of the world outside. It was the first real shower he'd had in weeks. Maybe longer. He couldn't remember. At first, he just stood there, letting the heat soak into his skin. It stung a little. His body wasn't used to comfort. But then it felt good. Too good. And then, the tears came. Quiet at first, just a few drops mixing in with the water. But they built fast, like a wave that had been holding back for far too long. Carl leaned forward against the tiled wall, his forehead resting between his arms, and he cried. Hard. Shoulders shaking, chest aching, breath hitching. All the years of loneliness, all the nights in shelters and alleys, all the birthdays he never celebrated. The parents he never knew, the brother he was told didn't exist. The feeling of being invisible, disposable. It all poured out in that tiny bathroom in East Hollywood. He didn't try to stop it. Couldn't. Outside the door, Sam heard the sobs through the faint patter of water. He sat on the edge of the couch, hands clasped together, listening. Not intruding, not rushing. Just being there. Sam knew that kind of cry. He'd done it himself. After heartbreaks, failures, and nights when the silence felt like it was going to eat him alive. He wanted to knock, to offer comfort. But he knew Carl needed this moment. Needed to let it out. Back inside, Carl slid down to the shower floor, hugging his knees to his chest as the water ran over him. He didn't know how long he sat there, soaked and raw, but eventually the tears slowed. His breathing steadied. He sat there, drained but lighter. When he finally shut off the water and stepped out, wrapped in a towel, his eyes were red and puffy, but calmer. He found a toothbrush by the sink, a comb, a stick of deodorant, all waiting for him, like Sam knew exactly what he needed. He pulled on the sweats and Def Sam Studios t-shirt and stepped back into the apartment. Sam looked up from his notebook and gave a soft smile. "Feel better?" Carl nodded, voice raspy. "Yeah, I think I needed that." Sam patted the spot beside him on the couch. "Come sit. I made you a cup of tea. It's nothing fancy, but it's warm." Carl sat down, wrapped his hands around the mug, and took a sip. It wasn't just the tea that was warm. It was everything. The room, the moment, the presence of someone who cared. For the first time in his life, Carl wasn't just surviving. He was beginning to live. To be continued. Chapter 5, Looking for Home. A week passed. Then 2. Carl was slowly coming back to life. The color in his face was brighter, his shoulders less hunched. He still had bad nights. Nights when he sat up until morning staring out the window, haunted by things he hadn't said out loud yet. But he was healing. Sam could see it, and Sam was changing too. For the first time in years, he wasn't just focused on music or hustling side gigs. He was thinking about someone else. Thinking about family. Thinking about future. It happened over breakfast one morning, somewhere between pancakes and orange juice. "We should leave LA, Sam said, glancing at his phone. Carl blinked. "What?" "Not forever," Sam said. "Just, I don't know, start over. Somewhere quieter, somewhere we can breathe." Carl frowned. "You just got here." "I came looking for something, and I found it. You, that was the whole reason. But this city, it's loud, expensive, exhausting. We need a real home, Carl. Something stable." Carl looked down at his plate. "You do that for me?" Sam smiled. "I do it for us." That night, Sam stayed up late on his laptop, scrolling through listings, maps, and neighborhoods. He opened a new tab and typed, 2-bedroom apartments, Nashville TN, affordable housing. Nashville had always tugged at him, Music City, a place where people still believed in stories, where the rhythm of life was just a little slower, a place where they could both grow roots. He bookmarked a handful of places. One in East Nashville, near a park and some cafes. Another near a recording studio. Most had hardwood floors and tiny porches, and more space than the shoebox they were living in now. All of them had 2 bedrooms, because Carl deserved his own space. The next morning, Sam slid his laptop across the table. "Take a look." Carl scrolled slowly, eyes wide. "You're serious?" "Completely. We'll figure out the job stuff when we get there. I'll busk if I have to. You can work at a shop, maybe even go back to school one day. But this is the next step." Carl paused at a listing with soft blue walls and a sunlit living room. "I like this one," he said quietly. Sam nodded. "Then we'll go see it." They started planning, budgeting, packing, downsizing what little they had. Sam called a landlord in Nashville. 2 brothers looking for a fresh start, he said. "One's a musician, the other's finding his footing. We just need a chance." And with a little luck, they got one. By the end of the week, the lease was signed. Nashville was waiting. To be continued.